To find out which puppies were best suited to become guide dogs, the trainers called them all over. Most of the puppies came racing at full speed, tails wagging, eager to please, all except one. This little pup just sat there, a bit dazed. It blinked, stared off into space for a few seconds, then finally trotted over, tail wagging like it had just remembered. "Oh right, that's me." Once it arrived, it plopped down on the ground, looked up at the trainer, and seemed to ask, "So, what's up?" This seemingly slow, clueless pup, it ended up being picked as one of the top candidates to become a guide dog. Why? Because it was calm, collected, and unbothered. Exactly the kind of temperament a guide dog needs. And just like that, Little Q said goodbye to its first home and was sent off to the guide dog training center. A year passed. Little Q had grown physically, but mentally, still kind of a puppy. Compared to the others, it didn't really blend in. Back home, it had been spoiled with tasty treats. So now, faced with plain old kibble, Little Q turned up its nose and kicked the food bowl away. During obedience training, while the other dogs listened and followed commands, Little Q just flopped on the floor, completely unbothered. No amount of calling could get it to move, but the trainer didn't give up. Instead, he chose patience and encouragement. He gently rubbed the birthmark on Little Q's belly and said, "You're one of a kind." As if it understood, Little Q slowly began to cooperate. For the next week, it trained seriously. The trainer thought, well, maybe it's just a late bloomer. Then, one day, something happened. The trainer had to step away. Before leaving, he told Little Question, "Stay right here. Don't move." And that's exactly what Little Q did. It laid down and waited, and waited, and waited some more. The trainer got so busy with the other dogs, he completely forgot he'd left Little Q there, until one of the other dogs made him realize Little Q was still in the exact same spot, hadn't moved an inch. The trainer couldn't believe it. Little Q had done something incredibly rare. It resisted its instincts. It controlled its impulses, something even most humans struggle with. And on top of that, its memory was outstanding. During street training, it remembered every curve, every turn, every step. The trainer grew more and more impressed. Finally, the big day came, the guide dog final test. When the starter pistol fired bang, most dogs panicked. Some barked, some ran, but not Little Q. It stayed calm, sitting quietly in place. That moment sealed it. Little Q became the very first to officially qualify as a guide dog. Soon after, it was paired with a blind man. Little Q had a new purpose, but the beginning wasn't easy. The man's movements were stiff and uncertain. At every turn, he hesitated. He didn't fully trust Little Q yet. Eventually, on familiar streets, he started to relax until a truck roared past, startling him so badly he broke into a cold sweat. At one point, they came across an obstacle. Little Q stopped, but the man tried to push forward anyway, then blamed Little Q for it. Going downhill, he ignored Little Q's signals again, and ended up taking a tumble. Want to know what happened next? Hit follow and drop a Little Q in the comments. I'll tell you the rest of the story soon.